Hey guys, it's me again. I want to share some of the biggest mistakes and most embarrassing things and kind of crazy things that I have done to try to get healthy. All right, I'm going to tell you what I've done. I was very sick when I was 28 a couple years ago. I'm just kidding. I'm 50 right now. But I was very sick and I hit bottom and I was searching for everything. My house was a warehouse of vitamins. I would take close to 100 vitamins a day. I mean, that's crazy. I had a warehouse. And every place we'd go, we'd drive, and I would tell my wife, hey, honey, let's go over there. There's a health house over there. Maybe they can help me. And we go in there and get all these vitamins and try this. And I kept going to the vitamin store, just trying to get help. And I didn't know what to do. So here's some of the things that I've done. Number one, 12 ounces of daikon radish juice. Okay, now radishes have incredible properties, and I'm not even saying this was necessarily a bad thing. It was just the amount of juice that I was consuming, because those daikon radishes are very spicy and they're hot and they're very long and they're white, and I juiced this huge container, and what I did is I just plugged my nose and drank the whole thing really fast. Well, that was a big mistake because it burned a hole right through my body all the way down, and it opened the gates of hell in my digestive system. And that was like, I did it because it's supposed to clean you out. It definitely will clean you out, but it was very painful. Okay, so that's the first thing I've done. Number two, ear candles. Now, some people might really like these and they probably get a lot of benefit. Honestly, I don't think they do what they say you're going to do. You're basically laying down and you're sticking this candle, this hollow candle in your ear to pull out the wax out of your ear, and you can see all these little things come out, but I don't think they're really coming out. I think it's the wax on the inside that are building up. Of course, I was really excited about it. I had my parents doing it, my relatives, my wife's parents, like I had everyone doing this, and I don't think it really ever did anything. It's kind of dangerous. It could kind of burn some things. So that's number two. Number three, it's called a cholemma. Now, what is a cholemma? A cholemma is a combination between a colonic and an enema on steroids. You basically take a 5-gallon bucket of water and you put some clay in there, and you take a tube with an enema tube and you lay on this board on your toilet, and you basically you put 5 gallons of water in your body and you flush out all this waste. And you do that morning, at night for 7 days, okay? And you're taking all these vitamins to flush you out. And I think it was a Roto-Rooter on steroids. I made it clean me out, but that was really a massive detox that kind of depleted me of all my electrolytes. If I would have done it again, knowing better, I probably would have put some electrolytes, because you're flushing a lot of things out of your body, and that could be dangerous as far as your heart, because you're not understanding how to do it correctly. Of course, with me, I didn't even read the directions. I said, oh, I know how to do this, and I did it incorrectly. So that was called a cholemma. So number four, I did the olive oil gallbladder cleanse. Now, what is the olive oil gallbladder cleanse? This is where you take 12 ounces of olive oil, 2 ounces of Epsom salts, and you mix it together, and you take a handful of concentrated beet tablets, down that, and you drink 12 ounces of olive oil, right? And then you lay on your right side all night long, and it's supposed to pull out all these stones. And then, of course, when you look in the toilet, there's these round green things. That is not stones. Those are floating. That is all your bile. And basically all I did is depleted all my bile reserve, and I just craved things like crazy the next few days. And it almost killed me, because the mistake I made was you don't use olive oil like water, like you're flushing these pills down, because the oil combined with the Epsom salts, like a chemical, that combined with the beets to make it solid right in my esophagus, right down here. And it actually got stuck in there and I couldn't breathe. I just barely survived that. And that was a nightmare. So that was the olive oil gallbladder cleanse. Number 5, heavy duty probiotic. Now, a probiotic is a friendly bacteria, and there's different gradients or amounts of bacteria. I used the one that was so strong, so powerful, that, I mean, it detoxed the heck out of me. And the problem with it is that I ended up the next day with Lyme disease. Don't ask me how. I didn't have a tick. I just actually, it reactivated something in my body. I had rashes and everything. I got tested because I started having inflammation. I'm like, what is going on? So it dumped everything and anything out of my body. And what happened was it kept getting worse. So I actually did the natural remedies that you're supposed to do, but it didn't quite work. So I had to, basically, I had to go get an antibiotic. Unfortunately, it was called Bactrim. I think it's Bactrim. And that was like, I felt like my body was a washing board because it just killed everything in my body. So I had to heal from that, just triggered from this. I mean, it was like a chain reaction that just really wiped me out for several weeks. So eventually I got my immune system strong where I don't have a problem anymore, but that's number 5. Number 6 is called the rusty nail experiment, or whatever, a situation. So I have a backyard, and I have a little compost pile, and one summer I'm working on there, and I stepped on a nail. Okay, I stepped on a nail. So I go inside the house, and I tell my wife, and she says, well, you better get a tetanus shot. And I'm like, I'm not going to get a tetanus shot. I mean, first of all, it's not really rusty. Secondly, I don't really believe in those things. So it's not going to be a problem, okay? I cleaned it up. It didn't really go that deep, whatever. So anyway, the next day, I go to the office. I sit down in front of my first client, who's a new client. And the first thing out of her mouth, she tells me a story that she basically stepped in a rusty nail and she didn't do anything about it. And she had lockjaw so bad that she went to the emergency room and she almost died. And she's telling me this whole experience. I'm like, well, you almost died? She goes, yeah, once you get it, because there's a time frame, and once it goes past that, you could die. And I'm like, I'm sitting there with her. I mean, it's like, hello, something's trying to tell me something here. So basically, right when that new client was done, I said, cancel all my appointments. And I ran to an urgent care and I said, okay, give me the shot. I'll take the shot, right? It's like, you don't have to warn me that much, right? So she gives me the shot for tetanus. I go home and I get a call that night. And she says, oh, we gave you the wrong shot. I'm like, what do you mean you gave me the wrong shot? So I drive all the way back and get the right shot. But it had me freaking out because the last thing I want to get is tetanus. But that was just kind of a mistake of not taking care of myself. And there is a point where, you need to do some medical care. Number 7, the master cleanse. Now this is you're basically living on lemon water and maple syrup for about 10 days. Okay? And first of all, it's like drinking sugar water. There's no nutrients in it at all. Lemon's not enough to give you nutrients. So basically you're starving yourself for 10 days. It's like a fast. And I was craving pizza so bad towards the end. I was dreaming about pizza. I felt blood sugar issues. I was irritable. It was a nightmare. So the problem is doing this master cleanse, any cleanse, you detox, and then you go right back to your pizza or old ways because you can't avoid it because you're craving so much. So I never really fixed the real problem. Okay, so that was the master cleanse, and I don't recommend doing it because it's like a starvation thing. Number 8, I did a kidney herbal detox. And these herbs were from China, and I didn't really study about the side effects from these herbs, but I took, my whole concept is I'm like the human guinea pig. And I'll go ahead, and if a little bit is good, I'll do a lot. And that was a big mistake because I drank half the bottle. And what happened, I started getting a sore throat, lung infection. I was in bed for a week with a fever. It turned on everything. So I had all sorts of things just kind of mobilized from my body. And what happens, the problem with some of these detox is they dump your liver and your kidney, and it recirculates through your blood to the whole body. So it's like taking these toxicity things and then pushing them in other organs. That's why I don't like powerful cleanses like that, especially if you don't know what you're doing and if you're going too fast. Okay? So these are just things that I've found that obviously didn't work for me. I'm sure you have similar experiences, or maybe not. But I just wanted to kind of point these out, and anytime you do something kind of new, you want to either be supervised, research it, or do it on a smaller gradient so you don't go too far. All right? Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.